Okay, we'll try to go ahead and get back on the schedule, back to the agenda. We have with us today, of course, Marcia Evans of Humana and Mackie Hagan of Agent of Record. And she forwarded me a copy of a couple of things that I did make copies of and put in the master's package. I know she's got copies of some more information she wants to share with us today. I hope some of it is county specific. The package information that I ran off was really more overview and information on county merit, cracking the code on healthcare reform.
Judge, to answer your question, no, I'm not going to be county specific, mainly because I don't want to be your expert on this. Mainly because a lot of the laws out there are interpreted different ways. What I wanted to talk to you today is about how it does affect you in the way of your health insurance, but you, along with many other groups that are in the same situation. Okay, so it's, even though I'm speaking to you, you would be like many of the other groups that I have. Okay, so what Humana did put out, and we have not put out a lot of information on healthcare reform or the or any of it, because basically it is not a carrier law, it is an employer law, and you have to abide by it. Okay. So if we go through this, and I'm going to start on page 2. And for almost all of them, I tried to highlight some of the things in here. But the one thing I do want to note, there is a difference in large group. You have fully insured groups, and when Humana looks at large group, and what I deal with is going to be 100 plus. But the laws do apply to all groups that are 51 plus. So when I look at the large group, I'm either going to have those that are fully insured in this group, or I'm going to have in this group those that are self-funded or those that are grandfathered. You all are a grandfathered group, mainly because you've had the same insurance since March 3rd, I think it is, of March 23rd of 2010. You all have not changed benefits. There is a percentage that you're allowed to change benefits. You're allowed to increase co-pays and things like that, but you've had the same benefits since then. Also in the way of contributions, because we've had either negative increases or decreases or rate holds, contributions didn't change. So unless you tell me something different, I have you as a grandfathered group. So basically, you do need to notify your employees, especially before January of 2014, that you are a grandfathered group, because there's some things that you do not have to do as you're in the way of your benefits. Okay, and this page on page 2 will kind of show you if you are no longer a grandfathered group, it's because you've done certain things. The ones on the right is increased plan benefits. You are also allowed to change carriers and still keep grandfather status. But you can lose, I'm sorry, it's on the left-hand side. By increasing the co-insurance, increasing deductibles, again, you have certain percentages, but you all did stay the same. So again, unless you tell me something different, you are a grandfather group. Women's preventive coverage on page 3. Humana put that in all of our benefits, even before we were required to. Summary of benefits and coverage, or what we call SBCs, are required. They have been sent to you and will be sent again when we renew. And they do have to be delivered to all employees that are covered. Okay. Assessments, taxes and fees. A lot of this has already begun. You're going to have it again in 2014. Because you're a fully insured group, Humana is pretty much gathering these taxes and fees for you, and will be making these payments. Some of them are by covered employee. We have the transitional reinsurance, which is $5.25 per member per month. Again, Humana's collecting that. When we did your renewal in 2013, at the beginning of the year here.
Is that 525 actually embedded within the premium increase that
Yes,
was
it is.
levied on us?
Just going to say, we put that in. Yes, we did.
It wasn't explained, but I guess it was in there somewhere.
Right. And we have, it's basically, you're going to see it again. You might not see it if, you know, we have a lot of groups that it's being built in and they don't see it. So, but you have other fees in there. There's a dollar fee. I'm not sure if it's in here. Yeah, on the next page.
Maybe $2 for life. And
Exactly.
Who
You're aware
pays
of it.
that? Is that embedded as well?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. As long as we can. Also, I believe you all have, I think you have a flexible spending account. You don't have it through Humana, so.
We have an well, it's in, I guess it's FSA, HRA, health reimbursement.
Right,
And it's,
right.
It's not an employee funded, it's totally county funded.
Right, that's not going to go under this
Not a
FSA.
plan or anything.
It's going to be totally different, so let's skip on over that. The employer reporting and notice of exchanges. This has been delayed. I'm sorry, no, it has not. There we go, mark that one. It is not. So effective 10/1, you will have to let your employees know of the exchanges, and you should have received also a letter. Well, I'm sorry. The letter from Humana.
That's just yesterday.
There you go. The letter plus additional documents there that give you a model form that you can follow. That does need to go out to your employees. You should start that, if not now, soon. Okay. Now let's go to page 10.
My question on that is, why, if we provide employee insurance, would they consider not accepting a free policy and going to the marketplace to buy insurance?
In all actuality, your employees, as long as there are requirements that you have to do in offering health insurance. Your insurance has to have the essential benefits, which it does. It also, in the way of contributions, you have to contribute towards an employee's cost. It has to be no greater than 9.5% of his salary or pay or hourly pay or whatever. Now, as long as those guidelines are met and you've offered it to every employee that is 30 plus hours, then you could not separate yourself from Marion County's health insurance and go to the exchange, because the exchange cannot accept you. But you still have to notify your employees that it's out there.
Judge, this has to be delivered to the employees by October 1st.
It should be.
Should be. They want to know what to see when they read it. I'm not sure, but they have to have this.
Well, it's just going to confuse me.
I understand, but this is regulated by the Department of Labor, requiring the group to do this. Who's going to police it, I'm not sure, but they're the ones that sent this out.
It's just so that whoever can say they had it, had the opportunity to look at it. If they don't look at it, makes no difference, but the job's done, okay?
What you're going to have is that the exchanges will open October the 1st for applications. If someone from Marion County maybe declined coverage and they take that to go to the exchange is going to want a copy of that letter.
For the notification letter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because that basically comes in and lets them know, has it been offered to you? Are they meeting the requirements? Things like that. Some of the other impacts that began 2014, of course, the exchanges, individual responsibility to purchase coverage. This doesn't apply to you all as much as it does just to someone who is out there that doesn't work for the county. Pre-existing conditions are waived, guarantee issue. Waiting periods cannot be longer than 90 days. You can't even have first of the month following 90 days. It has to be 90 days or less. Also to the right, it talks about wellness, and this is basically incentives that you may offer to your employees for meeting certain goals within wellness. I don't believe you all have that right now, but if you did, it's basically putting limits on that. So the limits can now go from 20% to 30%, whether that be normally it's 30% towards the premium dollars that the employee pays. And then also there, it can even be as great as 50% as long as the smoking cessation program is included. So those are kind of like wellness incentives, which I will tell you with healthcare reform is coming in very strong. Right? You're seeing a lot of it being kind of touted on with the wellness programs. On page 11, it talks about the penalties. And you'll probably know this has been set back from 2014 to now 2015. Right? Again, you have to have that essential benefits, the 9.5%, but again, that the penalties will not apply until 2015. This gives you on page 12 the essential benefits that are required within your plan. Again, your all's do. Actually, all of Humana's plans comply with this. Large group plans and self-funded employers are not required to conform to those. There is going to be an out-of-pocket maximum of $6,250, and actually the federal regulations are $6,350, but for some reason Humana did $6,250, $100 less, which is better. I think we had already filed it and they changed it, but we stuck with it. So, which means you have your deductible. Your all's plan's a little different. You have your deductible and it's covered at 100%. But a lot of our plans are deductible and then co-insurance. Maybe you have a $5,000 deductible and then you're responsible for 20% up to another, whatever, $10,000, okay, whatever. What they're saying here is with the deductible, with your co-insurance, with co-pays, whether it be prescription or office visit or hospital or anything, all of that goes towards the maximum out of pocket. And it cannot be more than $6,250 for a single and $12,500 for a family. So plans are going to change. All of Humana's plans are going to change. Everyone's are going to change. You're always wrong because it's grandfathered. But nonetheless, everything goes towards that maximum out of pocket. We call it the super move. Super maximum out of pockets. Okay. Public exchanges, again on 13. This talks a little bit more about that. Keep in mind that you all are offering the health insurance for your employees. You want to make sure that all employees have been offered. Come renewal time, I would make the suggestion that you again offer it to all employees, even those that have waived coverage. Those that have waived or those that want to waive, I would suggest they sign a form that they've waived coverage. Okay?
They always do.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Okay? That's your kind of your little backup for that. There's a lot of other things in here about any frequently asked questions that they have. A lot of it has to do with the exchanges, some small business, but I will state that with you being a grandfathered group, your plan meeting all the requirements. You all are fine for 2014?
Well, other than getting out the letter of notification
Right.
of the exchanges, right? So, Mr. Hagan, when do you suggest we go ahead and get that out?
Yes, I've sent this out, well, you received yours later. I received small groups back in early summer, and I sent it out along with the letter that came from the Department of Labor that suggested that they fill in what kind of plan they have and give it to them. With what Marcia just said, I would keep a copy on file of what you sent. So if they say something and 90% of them say, you got one or two says, I didn't get it, well, 90% of them did, that they have this in hand in case they go to an exchange and want to purchase insurance there. But sooner's better.
So, Judge, if we could go ahead and get that letter sent out, I mean, I don't see any sense in waiting.
Yeah.
No, they need to sign like time is screw, whatever, that they received it.
So
So
the
form,
department just could have a checkoff form,
check off the
and
machine.
sign that they received it or whatever.
Sounds good.
It's going to be, yeah, I would back anything up that you can. Because again, if anyone does go to the exchange, they've been offered the health insurance, they will not be able to buy through there. So keep in mind too, anyone that may want to come back, January or is your open enrollment, it is your renewal, so you may have some of those that end up coming back on.
So let me ask you this, moving forward in the January renewal time, or time, what's the information you have as far as how it truly is going to affect the standard rates?
Well, now, in large group's a lot different than small group.
Yeah.
Small group's able to early renew, in large group you cannot. And it's not just the carriers that are saying that, it's the federal government that's saying that. So in large group, basically what we're seeing, a lot of the taxes and fees are being applied. Benefit changes could affect it because before, many of our plans, and not your all, says it's different. It's a high deductible health plan. But many of our plans are the kind where once you meet the deductible and co-insurance, you get paid at 100%. But if you go to the doctor's office, you still have that copay. You go get pharmacy, you still have that copay. Well, now everything's going towards an out-of-pocket amount. So we no longer have those additional costs to you that we are not going to pay for, and now that we're having to pay for it, or Humana's having to pay for it, that's costs we have to keep in mind. So yes, could that raise premiums? Sure.
All right, so to get to my question, what kind of percentage? I mean,
There's-
any
She
idea?
does, well,
There's,
I didn't
I
know if
can't
you-
give you that.
I didn't know if there had been national surveys.
small
or
small
studies.
groups, I've got one this week, one took they wait till next year, 54%, another one got a 97%
Increase?
increase.
Is that through Humana?
No, but I've got
Thank
some
you.
with Humana that they took, but you're seeing these early renewals come in, and these are small groups, okay?
Yeah, I understand.
And they don't have to offer insurance, but I've seen rates from 28%, this last one was a 97% increase, if they don't take the early renewal. Now, they offered the early renewal at 10%, okay, and that's effective for December 1st,
Because they don't have to change
because
benefits.
they don't have to change benefits. And what Marcia just said, you know, they're putting all this stuff on the healthcare, like they're going to have eye care for infants now, for pediatrics. It's going to drive their costs up, but can't speak for the large groups because they backed this up to January 15th. But the small groups have seen these rates increase because they're community rated.
Well, and I'll tell you too, we have plans out there that we have given a second-year rate guarantee. But within that, of course, is language that states something like this happens. So instead of getting a 0, they're getting right at 3%. So take it at that it could be roughly about 3%.
How come we didn't get one of those 2-year rate guarantees?
Well, because those 2-year rate guarantees are dependent upon the wellness program, Vitality, and meeting certain requirements, certain engagement of the employees, and it's just not gone over like we would have liked it to go over. be more than happy to offer it to you this year, but I will tell you, we
And
really
with
need to
Jackie's
engage in vitality.
Same with Wade Jackson's office. That's
Nice.
wellness.
Are you getting credit for it through vitality? Gotta set that goal and you'll be getting credit for it.
That's 30 pounds, I got nothing. He's getting to live in Jim Madison for 4 more years.
Thank you, guys.
But yeah, there is always different programs and plans that we can look at, but it would have not been beneficial for me to come in and say, second year, this would have been your increase, but you could buy it down to 2% with 100% reaching silver status and vitality. I'm not going to offer you something that I don't see very unlikely to happen. And why would I say I'm going to give you a 12% when if I don't have that program, maybe I'm only looking at 5%. So.
Well, I guess you and I have had this conversation. The Vitality program and the incentives and the rewards and the trinkets and benefits are mostly urban area kind of access to certain amenities and things. And I know our employees ought to be more proactive. They ought to engage in as many of those things as they can. I guess I've got one question. I had a call and a survey that went out from the Judge Association about how many counties were going to receive renewal, I guess you would call them penalties for the employee base because of smoking. In other words, individual pricing is more the norm now based upon personal habits, personal practices. How much of that is Humana going to implement with a large group? I mean, I don't know if they know everybody that smokes in the county, but they can do it by survey, they can do an individual questionnaire. Is that going to be weighing in on our renewal come December?
Are you talking about the cost for health care for
Right.
those that are smokers?
Right.
That's not coming.
It's not going to affect you individually as
Well,
county
the
with
state plan
health.
already does. The state plan that Humana third-party administers already asked that question and already levies a penalty on policies that admitted smokers.
So the Commonwealth of Kentucky is going to be
They
penalized?
have been,
They already are.
are.
Okay.
Have been for 3 years.
Well, and they are totally separate, they're self-funded,
Yes.
and they also have Vitality. They do have a total health program that is second year and third year rates are dependent on Vitality. I can't answer towards their plan, but I will tell you, no, I'm not going to say, I know that Marion County has 50% smokers, so therefore I'm going to penalize you. No. Humana doesn't know that
Well,
information.
yeah, and you do. When y'all did your
When we did the health
care,
assessment.
y'all did statistically
Mhm.
do a report
Yes,
that gave a variety of information.
yes.
Percent of smokers, percent that already had stress issues, high blood pressure. I mean, there were a variety of indicators there that, to me, those things are relevant for pricing, costing out. Pricing.
You're exactly right. It could be, but I will tell you that information does not go to our underwriters. It is totally separate. It is if you had a third party come in and do this information, and we do keep it separate. The only thing that would hurt you on is your total claim dollars. We're not going to increase it because we know so many are smokers. We're not going to benefit it or give you a discount because we know that so many of you are farmers and therefore have your own garden and you're eating food that's not coming from the grocery. You see what I'm saying? No, we don't do that.
What you're saying, in effect, is that if we're penalizing because we have higher rate insurance because of smoking-related illnesses.
Because
Yeah.
of overall claim
Overall
dollars,
claims.
not necessarily
Yeah.
smoker-related
Well, I'm
illnesses.
saying, that if you get more claim dollars for those smoking-related.
But it's not
problems-
smoking, it's claims,
Yeah,
period.
exactly.
Let's summarize this up, I guess. Thank you for your time personally. Judge, I guess you'll work on getting that letter of notification of exchanges out, correct?
Yeah, they have the website that gives the model notice. I can put that up. Put the letter together.
All right, thank
Okay.
you guys very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.